great thing about Dracula, of course, everybody thinks they know everything about it. Everything you know is probably wrong, but we'll be getting to some of those. There are some great little tidbits about vampirism, which goes way back beyond Bram Stoker, such as, let's say, the sunrise. Or that vampires actually can go out in the sunlight. They just don't have their superhero vampire-like powers during that time. You actually don't need a wooden stake to kill a vampire. There are at least 5 different ways to kill a vampire. And I know every one of them, and Vanessa and I will be working them out later. In fact, in the Stoker book, Dracula himself is not killed with a wooden stake. He is killed by a large Bowie knife. So that's something that most people forget, because Hollywood has taken the vampire story and actually twisted it and made it into something that is their own. Still water, you can cross. And that's why most vampires, even though they could fly, they could do something like that, but in their human form, they could not cross streams, rivers, so that gave people a chance to escape. All we have to do is get across the river, and we're on the other side, and now the vampire can't get us, na-na-na-na. But, there's this whole big frickin' ocean between Transylvania and England, which consists of running water. So technically, Dracula should never have been able to go to England. But since Dracula is primarily a metaphor for plagues anyway, Black Death, AIDS, whatever you want to read into it, Dracula is just the disease that comes into a community and just kills everything around it. Dracula could be a metaphor for the plague that swept across Europe. Some people can use it with any other sort of horrible death. Almost any way that you could kill a human being are ways that one could dispatch a vampire. The most popular ways are beheading, and then taking the head and turning it upside down inside the coffin and reburying it. Fire is a very popular way of killing a vampire. Of course, stakes. Stakes being the predominant method of doing that, but they don't have to be wooden stakes. You could use a crowbar, you could use knives. I imagine you could probably take a chainsaw to Dracula and he wouldn't come back from that. We did not anticipate how to dispatch vampires pre-garden implements. I think if you had a really good weed whacker and went after a vampire, you could probably do some damage.
Six to 8 weeks is from the time period of going into rehearsal until the show is open. And that may seem like a lot of time to some people, because professional productions can be put up in anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks. For a college, 6 to 8 weeks, it's necessary because you need that sort of maturation process, because you are, while the students, even though they're in training, they are just that, they're students, so they're learning. We are teaching them at the same time. And the other thing is that in a professional production, you have 8 hours a day of rehearsal, or really about between 7 and 8. Here, you're only talking about an average about 4 hours a night. So it takes longer. So 6 to 8 weeks, but it's really much a round-the-clock operation till the time that we open, up until the time we open.
She is the undead, the restless, blood-letting vampire. She has been cursed with immortality and must go on, age after age, preying on the lifeblood of humanity and multiplying the evils of the world in an ever-widening circle of malevolent destruction. Nosferatu, scourge of Christendom, the lords of Lucifer.
Professor, have you gone mad?
All that I had! Madness would be easy to bear compared with a truth such as this. Why, friend, do you think I've taken such time, such care to tell you? Knowing of your love for her, I wish to be gentle, but it is no longer your heart which is at risk, John.
Yes, but I will not stop.
No more! I am listening no more!
Rats. 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 More. Hundreds, thousands, millions of them. And everyone alive.
No!
And cats to eat the rats. And dogs to eat the cats. All filled with luscious red blood, all filled with years and years of life.
And the dogs? What to eat the dogs?
The wolves. All these lives I shall give you from now till time eternal. All these lives and more shall be yours. If you will fall down and worship me.
I am your servant!
Now, bid me enter.
Enter, my lord and master. Enter!
I tell you what, the audiences never mind that. They love stuff like that because it's, you know what it is? It's like they can kind of peek in and get sort of a backstage view of it. They love that.
Bored with only a couple of vampires coming after him, so I'm having everybody. Guys are gonna cramp my style!
In the theater department, would love to have, this shot 3 cameras or whatever, 3 cameras, 4 cameras, 5 cameras.
We have to, as a group, decide, and we're not gonna do this tonight, but we will the next couple of nights.
And I believe the director is okay with that.
We want to do the show again, no audience, with these guys, with the cameras going inside the show, them being on stage with you and the whole works. We basically are making a film of the show.
And even if it means you kind of moving on stage a little bit while I think it's great.
And so it ought to be really, really cool. It's going to be a long night, but the idea is not to try to shoot it like a movie because it would take us more than one evening. The idea is just to run the show and let them walk in and out with the cameras, shooting all they can, and then they'll cut it together.
Also, I said, we're doing a midnight show, and they said, we'll be there. It's just, I'll be asleep.
So this ought to be pretty exciting, guys. I think getting inside the show and making it, shooting it live stuff, we're going to hope we get something other than just the cameras mounted out behind the audience, which is the normal thing.